Episode 2, Girls in Paradise, Part 2. After lunch, the afternoon was all about catching fish, and each used a small net to catch fish. Sho and Myron shared some of the fish as live bait, and the two of them went fishing to catch fish for dinner. The fishing was great, and for dinner that night they had a gorgeous array of fish dishes. Sho and his friends, who had been working hard all day, devoured them to replenish their energy for the next day. Myron, who had said she was tired of eating fish, seemed to be satisfied with the venison burger and ate the fish dishes as if she and Dird were fighting over them. After that, Myron and the other girls, P and Pio, went to sleep on the first floor of the camping unit, while Sho slept in a tent on the second floor. Really tired today. On the quiet lake, Sho entered the tent early and lay down. Tippy-tap. Sho then noticed the sound of footsteps coming up the stairs and slowly raised himself up. The footsteps stopped in front of the tent, and then he heard the voice. Sho, are you still awake? Palti? A small whisper. But it was definitely Palti's. Yes. Please listen for a moment. If Sensei sees us together, she might make a fuss about impure relationships again. Yes, that's right. Got it. Thus, the two began talking inside and outside the tent. Sho, I'm really sorry for causing you so much trouble today. Especially that time. Sho almost got seriously injured. That time? He said, and he remembered. The time Myron threw mud at Palti, Sho had been thrown by Palti too, and Palti really looked horrible at that time. Oh no, but it was Sensei who was at fault, and besides, I didn't even get a scratch on me. Don't worry about it at all. Thank you, but I should have apologized sooner. In fact, I was going to say it in the shower room, but even then, well, it was too much for that. I'm really sorry. They both blushed as they remembered the shower room. But at least they couldn't see each other's faces because they were talking through the tent. But I've heard stories, but I was really surprised to see Palti has a weakness like that. Ugh. I'm so embarrassed. Haha. But Palti seems to be a very perfect girl, so I'm kind of relieved that she has a few flaws or weaknesses. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about? Yes. Well, I don't want you to be full of weak points like Myron-sensei, though. Well, Sho, it's a pity for Sensei to say such a thing. She seems to be very concerned and cares about Sho and us. I wonder if that's true. But I think she's too insensitive or too much. After all, she made Palti angry again today. Oh, no. I'm not mad at you. What? Sho questioned Palti's words, and Palti continued. I think it's an over-defensive reaction. Probably some kind of trauma. If I'm aware of it, I can usually suppress it to a certain extent, but, well, if someone suddenly does something like smear something on my face, my mind instantly goes blank. Sho was puzzled by her voice, which grew weaker and weaker by the second. Even through the tent, he could tell that she was probably shaking. Even back then, if Sho hadn't called my name, maybe I would have hurt you just like that. When I think about that, I'm so scared. Palti's intimidation at that time was as if he had faced a lion in the flesh. It was the kind of thing that sent chills down his spine when he recalled it. But Palti was right. If she had attacked there, he would have been more than just hurt. The mute Sho instinctively knew this. And Palti was aware of that as well. No, there's no point in trying to mend things now. I may have even killed Sho. We're all bio-enhanced. Of course, under normal circumstances, I would have been under control, but that time. Bio-enhancement? An unfamiliar term, Sho quickly asked back. Yes, it's a technique that strengthens living cells, and although there are different levels, it's a widely used technique in space. Especially since I've undergone a high level of bio-enhancement, which is not available to the general public. The load is even doubled with a strong one to match. However, if we forget ourselves like I did at that time, even a weak force generated by a slight lag could cause fatal damage to Sho. In fact, it can be very hard for Myron-sensei too. It was clear that Palti was feeling responsible. He could hear it in her trembling voice. That's why Sho tried to be as easygoing as possible. But that was Myron-sensei's fault for stepping on that landmine, so there's no need to worry about it. See, I don't think Sensei cares anymore, either. Besides, Palti's not the kind of person who would do something like that, right? Just think of it as force majeure. Haha, I really don't care about anything either. Palti shouldn't worry about it either. Sho. He thought he heard Palti laugh behind the tent. Thanks for the... It kind of made me feel better, and I'm glad I got to talk to Sho. Well, I've got an early day tomorrow. I'll leave you to it for today. Good night. Yeah, good night. Palti's footsteps seemed to be bouncing as she left. But the footsteps suddenly stopped, and a small scream came from Palti, followed by a thud, thud, thud. Then he heard the sound of footsteps coming from downstairs, as if several people were running away. What? Oh my God! Palti finally shouted in disgust, and then the sound died away. Haha, it's Dird and the others. He immediately guessed. They were probably worried about Palti and came to check on her. It's also possible that they're just curious. Well, time for bed. Sho laughed happily and pulled the blanket up, falling asleep immediately afterwards. Ho-ra! Shokuin! Wake up! Shokuin! The next morning, Sho was awakened by Myron's voice and the sound of the tent being shaken. Sensei? What are you doing? In the morning, Sho turned on the lantern inside the tent while it was probably still dim outside and jumped in surprise at the shadow of Myron's chest, which was clearly visible through the tent's thin fabric. Apparently, Myron was shaking the tent from the outside by pressing her upper body against it. What are you doing, Sensei? What do you mean? I came all the way up here to wake you up because we're going to have breakfast soon. You should be grateful that you were woken up by such a beautiful woman. Yes, I understand. So please don't shake my tent. But Sho couldn't help but hesitate to go outside. This is... Because the line from Myron's chest to her stomach, which appeared close to the tent, did not look like she was wearing any clothes. It was because Sho had once seen Myron in only a thin t-shirt that he understood. What? What's wrong, Shokuin? Why don't you come out quickly? I know. So, get out of the way. I can't get out. Why can't you get out? Oh, maybe I woke up something else. Gosh, this girl is... Myron pressed her body against the tent, but... Sensei, what are you doing? The angry shout suddenly heard there was Palti's. What? What's going on? Perhaps startled by the voice, Myron seemed to have lost her balance and leaned against the tent as hard as she could. Whoa! Sensei, hey! Originally, his one-person tent was not designed to support as much weight as Myron. The resilient frame warped, and though it didn't break, Myron fell on top of Sho through the tent's fabric, crushing him. Oh, I knew it! He was sure that Myron was naked, because he could feel her breasts pressed against his neck, and above all, he could feel her body heat even through the cloth. However, Sho could only feel Myron's touch for a moment. Huh? What? As soon as the sensation disappeared, Myron's scream quickly faded away, and what was eventually heard was the sound of a huge splash. Sho stepped out of the tent and saw Palti wiping her hands. Good morning, Sho. It's another beautiful morning. Huh? Oh, yeah. Good morning. Palti's smile, appropriate for the brisk morning, was followed by a distant "Af. Ada de cold ouch die." Myron's voice and the sound of water made it look terrifying. Then Myron came back soaking wet and said, By the way, Shokuin, did you feel me through the tent? Palti threw her into the lake again, and Dird and the others appeared with appalled faces, and breakfast was finally served. When Myron came back, she seemed to have regretted her decision, and with a pale face and a runny nose, she ate her breakfast in silence. They all said thank you to each other and started the second day. It was free time for everyone. Hey, Sho. Today, you're going to pick wasabi with me as promised. Oh, yeah. I know. That's it then. Dird couldn't wait to get going, so she pulled Sho along. As he ran after her, his legs tangled. Aaliyah and the others chuckled at the sight. Then Aaliyah, Apuesta, let's go too, shall we? Well, I don't have anything to do either, so I'll help you too. Thank you, Aaliyah. The three of them continued their work from the previous day, gathering ingredients for the bread to be sold. Yesterday, they had found a few places where berries and such were growing. What are you going to do, Sensei? Palti asked Myron, who was lying on a beach chair after a long day of eating. I'm going to go fishing and relax with the chicks. I'm tired from all the strenuous exercise you put me through this morning. Fleck. Oh, I see. We'll be back around 3 o'clock, so please eat lunch with Sho and Dird, who will probably be back first. Will do. The three of them disappeared into the nearby forest after being seen off by Myron, who fluttered her hands lazily. Sho, on the other hand, was being led by Dird as they moved through the mountains. The sight of the morning sun shining through the trees was somehow mysterious, and just being in this forest seemed to heal him. Perhaps it was the negative ions that were being generated. Anyway, what was with Myron-sensei this morning? She's always been weird, but today she was even weirder, or rather, seemed more out of context than usual. Haha. In fact, last night, Palti and I had a great time talking about Sho, but even after we were about to go to bed, Sensei kept drinking and pestering me. She kept asking me what I thought of Shokuen and whether I really had anything to do with him. It was really annoying. So we rolled her up and threw her out because she was so loud. What? She really gave you that much trouble? I wonder if that woman is really aware of what it means to be a leading teacher. No, she doesn't seem to be aware of what it means to be an adult in the first place. Maybe she's jealous. Dird blurted out, her words only slightly reaching Sho's ears. Huh? Dird, did you just say something? It's nothing. Oh, more importantly, Sho, we're almost there. Wow. Wait, Dird. Dird squeezed Sho's hand again and sped up her pace. At that moment, Sho noticed that a fog-like substance was beginning to form around them. Oh no, I can't. I'm in a bit of a hurry, Sho. Sho ran off with Dird pulling him along. They carefully crossed a log bridge and slipped under a big tree on the other side of the river. At the same time, it started to rain hard, even though the sky was clear. Wow, it's really raining. I knew it was gonna rain, Sho. Should I use this? Dird took out a thin film-like sheet from her backpack. She stood next to Sho and draped it over their heads. This blocked the chilly wind and made the sheet slightly warmer inside. Moreover, the sound of the rain hitting the sheet was almost inaudible, and apparently it also absorbed the moisture, making the space quite comfortable. We're almost there, but let's take a break from the rain. It's just a passing rain, so I'm sure it'll stop soon. But this is amazing, isn't it? Is this something from space too? Sho asked as he leaned closer to Dird. Yes, Dird replied with a nod, but you know, it's not really meant to be used like this. What? Is that so? Yes. Well, I don't know much about it, but it's supposed to be used in combination with various other materials. I think it's used to make the walls of those camping units. Apuesta told me about it once. Wow. I wonder if that's a material that doesn't exist on Earth. No. Most of the things that we take for granted in our daily lives are made from materials that are found in the Earth as much as possible. This seems to be one of them. I see. I guess people in space have a lot of difficulties too. That's right. We're going through a lot too. They both started laughing and realized that the rain had stopped. Oh, it looks like it stopped already. Let's go, Sho. Yes. After a few minutes of walking fast, they found an open area with a small waterfall falling down in steps through the bushes. We're here. This is it, Sho. Wow, there's a small waterfall like this. It's amazing. Oh, wasabi. Sho found what he was looking for and pointed to it. He had seen it before on the mainland, so he immediately recognized it. Wow, I heard that they grow wild, so I thought they would just grow on the slopes of the mountains. but they're pretty neat. You know, this is a tributary of the mountain stream we just passed. Apuesta said this used to be the main stream, but the current has changed, so we've been weeding and repairing it with some rocks. I see. That's why it's like a little field. Yes. Then let's start picking wasabi. Okay. Sho and Dirt started to collect wasabi together. It is said that the growth of wasabi varies greatly depending on the water environment, but the wasabi here all had such strong roots that it was difficult to pull them out with both hands. According to Dirt, the wasabi that she brought back home must be carefully plucked and washed with water to reveal the wasabi that Sho knew. As they continued to pick the wasabi, a casual conversation took place. It rains a lot on Earth, doesn't it? I was really surprised when I first came to Earth. What? What do you mean? Well, where I was born, it never rained. So, when I experienced rain for the first time on Earth, I was so surprised. I was even scared at first. Wow! You're afraid of rain. It must be totally different from space. No, it's not. I've never been to a planet where it rains, or a large space station where the weather can be adjusted. Then Dirt suddenly lowered her voice, and Sho felt a little uncomfortable with her and stopped picking wasabi. He wondered if this was the difference between space and Earth, or something like that. Then he tried to change the subject a little to cheer her up. But if it's your first time to go down to a planet, aren't there a lot of other unusual things to see? Sho's simple question was answered by Dirt's cheerful yes. She nodded cheerfully. Well, I've seen a lot of videos and stuff, but everything is so unusual, and I really enjoy it. Haha, I see. Sho felt as if he was saved by Dirt's smile as she spread her hands. Also, I realized that we could live happily without more food than we need, and that's what impressed me the most. What? More than necessary. Well, of course it's partly because of the environment on this island, but it's fun to know that as long as you have what you need for the day, you can get by on that. In space, you have to have enough air, water, food, and everything else in reserve to feel safe. So, you end up hurting someone or taking from someone else. Dirt. Her face, which had been so happy, began to darken slightly. To Sho's concern, Dirt chuckled and said, "Ehe. I'll tell you about it. I don't want to tell you any more than I have to, because it would make me feel uncomfortable." Dirt then looked up as if she had made up her mind. Sho also made up his mind to listen to her seriously. You see, the reason I've never been to a planet or a large station is because our family has always lived off the beaten path. We've moved around a lot, too. Is that because you're a pirate? No. I've been running from my pirate friends, too. What? But why? It's because of a man from our clan. He was so evil that even our guild mates hated him, and the GP ordered us to shoot him dead as soon as we found him. His ship was also ordered to be sunk as soon as it was found. Sho gulped. For a moment, he imagined a man with a skull cap and an eye patch like in the movies, but he was probably not that kind of person. But then Sho thought of a question. But aren't pirates, the kind of people who exist? Oh, that's just my own imagination. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Yeah, you're right. But pirate is just a term used by the Galactic Federation. We don't have any concept of what it means to be a pirate because that's how we live our lives. I see. That's right. Yeah. So, about that clan guy. He attacked ships and killed people just for fun, just for his own pleasure. I can't imagine what happened to the people he captured, and I don't want to. I can't even imagine how many people, friend or foe, were killed by him. Dirt. Dirt suddenly dropped to her knees. Sho walked over to her and crouched down as well, gently touching her shoulder. Dirt, are you okay? Yeah. I'm sorry. I just remembered what happened when they showed me the images of the victims. Dirt's body began to shake as she forced herself to laugh. Her face was pale and quickly became pained. He did all the work, but this is as good as done by you guys. Dirt, that's enough. Don't force yourself to talk. Sho pulled Dirt's trembling shoulders into a hug. Perhaps because of this, Dirt's trembling gradually subsided. Yeah, thanks, Sho, but I'm fine. It's not like I'm clean and sober. There are many people in the universe who do terrible things. I've even helped some of them. There are many places where people can't make a living without it. I'm the same as Dirt. Sho is. Hate me like that? Do you despise me? He let go of her body. Dirt kept her head down and wouldn't look at Sho's face. Sho was troubled and then answered apologetically. I'm sorry, I still don't know much about space or pirates, and I don't understand a lot of the fighting on this island. But I've already gotten to know Dirt and the others and became friends with them, so I can't despise them. But I can't say anything else either. I'm sorry, it might be a little cruel to Dirt and the others, but I can't say anything to them right now. Yes, you're right. Yes, but I think you're right. Dirt was a little sad at first, but soon she returned to her normal Dirt self, in good spirits. Sho, of course, really wanted to comfort Dirt. But he couldn't say anything selfish because he thought that it was the worst thing to say irresponsibly. Just sympathy is not good for the other person in the end. However, he decided to say what he had. But I don't think there's any reason for Dirt and the others to be blamed for what he did. So, I don't think we should worry too much about it. The words must have come as a surprise to Dirt. She stared at Sho with wide eyes, startled out of her voice. I don't know much about space, but if you think you've done something wrong, Dirt, why don't you do your best so that you don't have to do that from now on? Besides, I'll help you out too. Sho. Yeah, thanks, I know. Dirt's voice sounded like it was about to tear up. Sho kept smiling at Dirt. So, she gradually regained her usual smile. So, the guy was the reason that Dirt's clan was hiding out? Yeah, there were a lot of people looking for that guy's stronghold. But if you're here now, does that mean that guy was caught? Yeah, he was a guy who thought of everyone else as a toy, but there was only one guy he really hated and one girl he really liked. And you know what? He went to interrupt their wedding. And he got caught in the act. Wow, that sounds like something out of a movie. Haha, but it's not that cool, you know? You sneak into a wedding, try to kill the guy, and get beaten back in a bad way. Ha ha, and that guy is actually an earthling like Sho, you know. What? Is that so? Yes, he's a hero who destroyed the pirates. But to us, he's more like a demon or a plague god. Haha. The hero who destroyed the pirates. At Dirt's words, Sho guessed that she was talking about Minamata. However, Minamata wanted to hide his true identity from the girls. So he wasn't going to say anything. But he couldn't help but be curious, so Sho asked, You know, Dirt, do you still have a grudge against that person? What? I don't have a grudge against Minamata-san. Dirt's lips were involuntarily pressed, and she looked like she was in trouble. What? Dirt? What? You knew. Ugh, I've been exposed. Dirt's shoulders slumped as she took her hand away from her mouth. Then, perhaps having given up, Dirt began to speak in a whisper. It was Palti who first noticed it, she said. But most of us know about it now. But don't tell Minamata-san. See, Minamata-san, he's trying really hard to hide it, isn't he? Sho knew that, didn't he? Yeah. So, what do you think about? Now, I don't hold a grudge, you know. I don't really hold a grudge because in the end, it was like he freed our family from him, and thanks to him, we're able to live happily like this now, and I got to meet Sho. I'm sure there are some people who resent him, but maybe not that many. If you can afford to hold a grudge, you need to work on improving your life. Huh, you're all pretty dry, aren't you? Yeah. Besides, it's not Minamata-san's fault. He's a person with a very skewed probability bias. What? Probability bias? He didn't know what that meant. When he asked, Dirt replied with a laugh. Minamata-san, it seems that every time he went into space, he ran into pirates, and while he was trying to deal with them, he ended up destroying them. Oh, well, he did say that he just created the opportunity. But I don't know how Minamata-san managed to stay safe after getting into such trouble every time he went into space. Haha, it seems that the GP and the Academy gave Minamata-san a lot of special personnel and equipment. They probably used him to their advantage, I'm sure. I see. It's like some kind of hoi polloi. Minamata-san must have had a hard time. Sho looked up at the sky, thinking about this in a sad way. And besides, Minamata-san rarely attacked us aggressively in the end. Most of the time, it was a pattern of pirates attacking their prey and getting hit back, and it's our fault for getting caught by the bait and getting hit. So, it's not right to hold a grudge. Of course, he was a nuisance to us, though. I see. So, he really was just a trigger. But you know, it's an amazing influence to destroy pirates by involving them in your bad luck. That's outrageous. Yeah. Palti told me once that people like that usually can't grow up properly and end up having mental breakdowns. But Minamata-san is not like that. He's very serious and good-natured. He looks a little stiff, but he's kind and I'm sure he's a good person. It's a miracle that he could grow up like that. Miracle, huh? Indeed, Sho thought. If he were in Minamata's position, he wouldn't have any confidence that he could survive being attacked by so many pirates. I'm sure he has a strong heart. That's why everyone who knows Minamata-san seems to think he can't be beaten. I guess that's true too. And besides, if you saw Minamata-san being chased by Myron-sensei every day, you'd think that he's a very unlucky person indeed. Ha ha ha. That's right. But you see, isn't Sho also here because of Minamata-san's bad luck? Maybe that's why Sho has been favored by Myron-sensei. Ugh, yeah, I guess so. But even if that's the case, I don't think I'd hold a grudge against Minamata-san either. In this case, it's Myron-sensei that's the problem, not Minamata-san. Isn't the devil or pestilence really Myron-sensei? Ha 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 ha. Sho, I feel sorry for you if you say it like that. Ha, that's true too. It would be terrible if Sensei hurt us. Humph. It's okay. I'm like a demon or a pestilence god anyway.